folks, Trip here. Today we are about to ride a brand new 2023 Harley-Davidson Softail Breakout. It's got the new 117 Milwaukee-Eight motor in it, and this ought to be fun. I have never ridden the Breakout before. It's new for this year. They brought it back. I've never ridden a bike with a 117 in it before. I've ridden lots of Softails, but nothing quite like this. So let's hop on and check her out. Okay, the first thing I notice is the seat is a little bit wide for my liking. Yeah, I just hopped on it. It may end up being a great seat, but it's a little bit more wide than I like. Kind of makes contact with the inside of my thighs, which traditionally has kind of worked to shut off my circulation and make a certain part of my anatomy go numb. I hope that doesn't happen today. We're only going to be going on about a 10-12 minute ride, so it shouldn't really do that. I like the styling of this bike. And I like the little info center, the little information cluster up here. It's very compact. And we've got the ABS flashing there, and I think that's got to be the RPM and the miles per hour there. So over here is the mode button. This bike only has 63 miles on it. Almost a virgin. And this bike is foot forward. Seems to fit me well. I'm 5'11", 220 pounds. And to give you an idea of what I'm judging this bike against, I ride a 2015 Softail Deluxe with a 103, a 2019 Heritage Classic with a 114, also a Softail, and I've got a Kawasaki Vulcan S650. That's kind of where I come from. Now, other things I notice this bike has, it's got cruise control on it, which is just amazing. I love cruise control. I tell you, what a godsend. Your right hand just feels like you're in heaven when you go for a ride of any distance. I think I'm going to have to be careful of this guy in front of me. It looked like he didn't handle that sand, that gravel taken off too well. In first and second gear, this bike's got a little bit of pickup to it. So far feels good. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to look down when I get off of this curve here. But the breather has got sort of that snorkel, 90-degree snorkel on it, which looks mighty cool, but the problem is my shin hits against it. It's kind of always there in the way, and I like to put my foot a little bit forward, especially when I'm going up to the brake, and I've got to put my leg out around that pipe. That's kind of a pain in the ass. Now I've got to figure out how to get to the RPMs here, so we're going to toggle around on this baby. There's the RPMs. I missed a shift there. The bike sort of chuckled when we took off. I think I took off in second. You'd think I'd have been able to take off a little easier in second gear. Or we could just blame it on operator error. That's probably the easiest thing to do. Coming up to a highway that goes through town here. We're in San Antonio. And we're actually at Cowboy's Alamo City Harley-Davidson. And it is my favorite dealership here in town. They got real friendly people. I like dealing with these folks. Now, it's kind of cool out today. And I'm flipping my face shield back up because I was starting to fog up here. So we're idling. We're about 800 to 850 RPMs. It's got the traditional Harley layout here. This is your kill switch, your hazards, your start button. It's got the split turn signals, which I got to be honest with you, I don't like. When you're searching for that turn signal, you'll hit the horn by mistake, which is right above the turn signal. So I'm not a huge fan of that, but you know, I've got a couple of Harleys, so I've learned to live with it. I'm pretty much over that. Now, this is going to be a short, a lot of pickup. This is going to be a short test ride, so I'm not going to be able to tell you, oh my God, this bike handles incredibly on the Twisties, because there's not going to be any Twisties. We're going to take a couple of turns and that's about it. I know this bike has a 36-degree rake, so everything that I've read and heard about this bike is it's really good in the corners and the Twisties, good lean angle. This bike has a lot of pickup, and it is a little bit more so than my Heritage Classic. So just 3 cubic inches, but maybe something's tuned a little differently in this bike, or maybe the gearing's a little bit different, but I can tell the difference between this 117 Breakout and my 114 Heritage Classic. And I'm going to tell you, it's not my imagination. Now, I am in 6th gear, and this thing is still accelerating like a beast. This is a really responsive, really powerful bike. Very impressive. Hope you're not getting too much wind noise here. It is very windy today. If I was going to ride this bike any distance, the wind pressure against my chest would get old pretty quick. The problem is with this bike, if you stick a windshield on it, it just doesn't look right. You know, this is not the type of bike that's styled to look good with a windshield. Maybe a cafe style fairing or something on the front to get sort of some of that pressure off your chest, but other than that, I don't know if I'd put anything like that on this bike. I'm in 6th gear, and this bike is really responding. I'm purposely letting a gap grow between the riders in front of me so I can pop that gas. Okay, I'm doing, in 70 miles an hour, I was doing 2,500 RPM. So that's pretty darn good to have that much speed on this bike with that low of an RPM. 70 on my Heritage would probably be about 2,900. I don't know if you noticed in that last sort of sweeping turn back there, as I sort of faded into the left-hand lane, and that was because of the wind. I wasn't expecting that. Again, it is quite windy out today. Now this thing shifts very smoothly, and I haven't really had a chance to test the brakes yet. We'll test those when we get up here at the turnaround in a few miles. This bike has a 21-inch front wheel and an 18-inch back wheel, and I know the back wheel is 240 millimeters, so it's a fatty. I don't know what the front wheel is, but I'll find out, and I'll put it down in the video there so you can see it. The seat so far feels pretty good. It's dense. It's not a soft, cushy foam, but it's dense, and it's sort of got a shelf in the back that sort of supports the base of my tailbone, which I like. The width of the seat, which I thought would be a problem, I don't notice it when my feet are up and I'm riding. I noticed it quite a bit when I was setting at the light or getting started. So far with the seat and the seating position, I'm happy. I like the handlebars. It's sort of this drag style, I guess you'd call it. My personal preference, I could use them being an inch or two higher, and I'm sure you could cure that with a riser. Although this really isn't going to be a long distance bike. I mean, it's a lot more capable than a short distance bar hopper, but this isn't a bike that you'd want to go on a 300-mile long ride on it, especially without a windshield. The brakes on this bike should be pretty capable. They've got 4-piston single disc brake up front. I think it's a 300 millimeter. The back one is going to be a single disc. I think that's only a 2-piston, but I'll put that correct information on the screen here in the video. I don't want to mislead you guys. And of course that disc is going to be smaller as well. The styling on this bike is just really, really cool. I'll have to get some still photos of this stuff and sprinkle them through this video to show what I mean. I'll put the specs in here, you know, the seat height, the length, the width, the rake, the weight. It does have a 5-gallon gas tank. 5 gallons is usually way more than enough. You know, this bike is supposed to get 47 miles to the gallon. Let's say you get 45. You know, you're looking at 225 miles, and I'll tell you, every time after I've ridden, you know, that's 3.5, 4 hours. I'm ready to get off the bike. Okay, let's give these brakes a good test here without the oh, not bad, not bad. Not a super good test, but didn't set off the ABS and stopped me pretty darn, or slowed me down pretty darn well. You know, again, in a ride this short, it's tough to give a really good assessment of the brakes and some of the other things. You'd really need to take this bike out for 30-40 miles and take some curves and some straightaways and some highways and do several different things with it. Let's check out the horn here without, we'll probably scare the hell out of the people in front of us, but what the heck. Oh, that's not a bad horn. That's not a bad horn for a Harley. Anyway, I hit the horn. They all turned around. That's funny. So, Breakout. The FXBR 2023 unique model features brilliant chrome finishes. That's very true. The chrome on this bike is really spectacular. 117 in it, Milwaukee-Eight. Dual bending valve front suspension and rear monoshock. All of the Softails have the monoshock now. Gloss black 26 spoke cast aluminum wheels, and I love the cast wheels as opposed to the laced wheels or the spoked wheels, because if you get a flat and you're 50 miles from nowhere, if you've got spokes, you're in trouble because you've got tubes in your tires. If you get a flat on a bike like this with tubeless tires, it's not very difficult to plug it. Okay, factory option, blah blah blah, vivid black, basically 21 grand. you want any sort of color to this, I think this is the Atlas Silver Metallic. It's $21,500. You're going to pay a little bit for destination and, of course, your taxes and license. I don't know what it's going to total out to, but it's going to be probably, I don't know, $3,000, $3,400 more. So roughly, let's call it 25 grand for that bike. The dealership that is doing this Demo Days, Harley Demo Days today, doesn't charge anything above MSRP. So they're kind of unique in the area for that. The other dealerships will charge a little bit extra. So good on Cowboy's Alamo City Harley. I think I've got it in first gear. We'll find out soon enough. No, yeah, I guess we did. Well, nothing like a slow takeoff to curb your enthusiasm. Okay, let's put down the face shield and be safe here. No one's coming. The rearview mirrors are spaced okay. They could be a little bit further out. I would say if they were about an inch further out, half inch maybe on each side, be a little bit better. I like the looks of these mirrors. I've never been a big fashionista when it comes to mirrors. The stock mirrors are okay for me as long as they perform. I'm not really having any problem with them today, but I think I might like them just a little bit further out. Back to this instrument cluster. I really like this. I don't know that I can show everything in there, but it's got the neutral light, the battery indicator, the oil indicator, the ABS. It probably has, let me see, turn signal. Yep, left turn signal there and right turn signal there. And of course these turn signals are self-canceling, which is always nice. You just hit it again and it'll go off. And then of course the hazard lights are the same thing. You see them blinking away there. So surprisingly enough, as compact as this is, it gives you really everything you need to have. There's the fuel gauge over there on the left. We've got about a little over 2/3 of a tank of fuel. You can tell we're in 6th gear. We're doing 56 miles an hour in 6th gear and doing about 2,200 RPM. Not too bad. So we're on our way back. Like I said, short review. Some of the things that I like about this bike. The bike looks amazing. It's very unique in the Harley lineup. There's not a bike that looks anything like the Breakout. This particular bike has a lot of chrome, but it's a nice balance. And the cast wheels and the 21-inch front wheel, it really looks cool. It's got that big fat back tire that will have a nice size contact patch for you and do a good job of transferring the power from this 117 to the pavement. That's a definite positive. The bike's very responsive. Acceleration is just really good. Then even when you're up to 70 miles an hour, it still has a lot of bang to it. Shifts very smoothly. The clutch is very smooth. The brakes, for what I can test them today, seem capable. One thing that I'm getting into now, this pavement is, this is sort of a new road. And the pavement, I won't say is rough, but you know, it's new. It's not worn in. And I am feeling a lot of the little bumps. Oh, thank you, knucklehead. So the, oh yeah, okay. Elantra. So where was I? Okay, so we're getting a little bit more road feel than I'd like, but again, this is a sportier bike. This is not a Heritage Classic, it's not a Road King, it's not a Street Glide, it's not a Road Glide. The nice thing is, and I didn't check it before I got on it, but there is a knob on the right-hand side, sort of behind the engine underneath the seat, where all you have to do is reach down and adjust the rear monoshock, the rear suspension. For, you know, if you're going to have a passenger on this bike, I really don't think this is the ultimate two-person bike, but it does have a passenger seat on the back. You can ride two up. It does have passenger pegs. But this wouldn't be the optimal bike if I was going to take somebody with me. It's more of a sportier bike, but capable for a second person if you want it. The point is, if you add a second person, or you were to put a sissy bar on this in a bag, or if you, God forbid, gained a whole bunch of weight, all you have to do is just reach down with your right hand and adjust the suspension until it's to the desired stiffness or responsiveness that you want. You don't have to take off the seat. You don't have to pull out a wrench. You don't need any special tools. Just reach down and turn the darn thing. Now, I will tell you, I am more of a cruiser fan, and I like sort of a medium foot forward, and that's what this bike is. My sweet spot is not a bike like this, but I gotta say, I'm truly enjoying this ride. Now, I'm gonna guess the weight of this bike to be about 700 pounds curb weight, and that means with gas and oil, you know, ready to go. Now, how does that compare with some of the other Softails? Well, this bike's going to be a few pounds heavier than the Street Bob, and it's going to be about 25 or 30 pounds lighter than the Heritage Classic, which I know its curb weight is 728. The Road King comes in a little over 800, I believe, and then you've got your big boy bikes, the Street Glide and the Road Glide, which are probably a good 150, 170 pounds more than this bike. So that's a consideration for you, you know, if you want to navigate, you know, at lower speeds. You know, let's say you're getting around in a parking lot or gassing up or whatever. This bike is going to be far superior than one of those big heavy bikes. Oh yeah, this bike has a lot of power, a lot of torque through every gear. This 117 is an impressive motor. My takeaway on this guy before we get home, other than this air cleaner sort of bumping my right shin, after 10-15 minutes on this bike, there's really nothing objectionable to it. It handles well. It's got good road feel. Like I said, I tend to like something a little bit more plush, but hey, this is good. I love the styling. I like the instrumentation cluster. I think 5 gallons of gas is good. You know, it's got the 6 speeds. It's a smooth bike. It's a powerful bike. It's a good looking bike. I don't know that I would really try to change anything here, except for the maybe put a small fairing on it to break the wind. And I think that would be about it. I had a really good time on this bike. I think we're going to take this bike back up to the front here. So that's the brand new 2023 Breakout with a 117 in it. I'm going to give this bike an A-. Probably would have given it an A, but you know, I'm almost between a cruiser and a touring kind of guy. And this, I would call this a sport cruiser. It's got a good sound to it. You know, the Milwaukee-Eight's been criticized for having, you know, a weak sounding engine and exhaust, weak in regards to sound quality. You know, it certainly doesn't sound as good as a twin cam or an Evo in my opinion. So let's do a little walk around here. Headlight is LED, nice looking. The finish on the seat, this is just really cool. Got your Harley badge there. There is your knob to adjust the rear suspension. And you can see you're a little foot forward here if you want to look at sort of the sitting position. But it's not too far foot forward. It's comfortable. The exhaust is very stylish and nice. And moving to the back, you've got that big fat rear tire, which really looks cool. I'm not too big of a fan of these turn signals. I think I'd put something small and LED. I noticed these aren't LED. I'm not sure if this is or not, but I think I'd put something real small in here to sort of go along with the brake light. This is a winner. I think Harley's going to have a lot of success with it. A very sharp looking bike, rides nicely, extremely powerful, very stylish. If I was looking for something like this, I wouldn't hesitate, man. Thanks a bunch for coming with me on the test ride, and until next time, do me a big favor, ride safe and ride often.
Have you subscribed to Trip on Two Wheels yet? Hey, what are you waiting for? Do it now.